Alright, well look what we have here. We have a 2004 Z06 Corvette with quite a bit of damage. So what happened to this car? What's the story behind all this damage and broken glass and every panel's about beat up? Well, it was a friend of mine's car and it was a fall day and he was out for a very, very spirited drive with his dog. And they were driving and I think he was about at 120 and he was going around a bend on a highway and it had dust, like dirt, covering it because it was really windy that day. And there was a cornfield off to the right-hand side. And he couldn't make the turn, it just kept sliding kind of off, so he kind of just went straight and to the cornfield. And what he didn't see was there was a big telephone pole laying on the ground long ways. And as soon as he got in the cornfield, the front here, the right front, hit the telephone pole and sheared off the whole assembly. So the wheel, rotor, brake assembly, most of the spindle all went. As you can see, there's still part of the upright spindle still there. Took out everything else, ripped out the computer. Most of the wires got ripped out, and it caved in this whole frame horn here, which should actually be about over here. And then it ended up going end over end. So the back end hit, and then it flipped over again, the front end hit again, then the back end, then the front end, and then it finally came to a rest. So everything kind of got caved in from here over and pushed everything in. This frame horn's bent too. You know, there's nothing really left to bring this thing back to streetable. But you know, it's interesting because a lot of people make these into buggies now. And it's kind of neat looking. I kind of looked at some of them and it's kind of a neat idea. I don't think that's what my plan is for this because actually I have another Z06 that I need a motor for. So this is perfect. If the motor's still in good condition, which hopefully we'll find out. My plan is to actually get this back running, at least the engine running as it sits right now, just to test the engine to make sure everything looks good with that before I go through all the effort to tear everything apart. But it would be interesting to turn into some kind of buggy, you know, because you rip off all the body panels and you weld up some kind of frame around it and basically just drive it like that. And they're quite neat. So that would be kind of fun too, because you'd have to cut the frame off about there and about over there, and then weld on new front frame, and then the sub frame assembly would bolt in from the bottom, and new A-arms and all that kind of stuff. But you know, that would be kind of fun too. So it'll be interesting to see. But we'll do a little tour around the car so you can see all the crazy damage that a crash at 120 does. And luckily, driver and dog walked away with no problem at all. I mean, he had a real bad headache, the driver did. But that was really it. So let's do a little tour of it. Well, here's how you can see how the assembly, the spindle, which I also call an upright, got sheared off. There's this part of the area where the bearing would be, and this is where the brake rotor would be. As you can see, here's the computer. Half the wires are ripped out, half are still in there. So we'll see how that all works out. You can kind of see how the frame rail started to get pinched right there. And all this is caved over. This right here should be going straight out right here. So you can see all that got pushed in. And the radiator, condenser, everything's jammed really far against the engine there. The whole headlight assembly, all that was just gone, just disintegrated basically. This is part of the under hood support that was still hooked up to the hinge for the hood. Around this side, still have a wheel on this side, got a little bit of damage. This fender obviously got completely buckled up in the air. Ripped out that part. This whole door panel got de-skinned. That's interesting. This is the door bar, you know, for side impact. The door still somewhat opens a little bit. You can see all the airbags deployed, all the glass is broken. So everything kind of, you know, most of these cars are really pretty much bonded together. So a lot of the panels are hard to ever replace. You know, the rear quarters you can unbolt and the front quarters, but all this other stuff is all bonded together and it's really hard to do repairs on those kind of things. But you can see every panel got hit, smashed up. Rear glass is still in good shape. Trunk lid's gone. Everything's super loose, which is kind of nice for just assembling. You kind of can, pieces of it you just kind of can pull off. This whole rear quarter's gone. The roof section is real loose. This side has a little bit of damage here, so this got pushed up in the air. You can see how the doors don't line up anymore. This door actually does shut and open, but even that has a little bit of damage on it. A little bit right here. So yeah, so it was a very bad crash, and they're lucky to walk away from it. So once again, the main damage here. All right, well that's a tour of it. It'll be interesting trying to get this thing all apart because everything's kind of like bent in and compressed around everything. So hopefully I'll maybe do another video once I get everything kind of cut off so we can kind of like see if we can get that engine running, you know, inside here and see if it's in good shape or not. It's always hard to say when a car's wrecked because you don't know if it was laying on its side, the engine kept running, or what happened. I mean, looking at the computer, I would think the engine wasn't running, but you know, a lot of those wires have nothing to do with the engine running. So we'll see. All right, thanks for watching.